first item I wanted to talk about tonight, something interesting, and it's probably because of the success of The Voice. But, you know, it's very difficult to get your music on air. And there is a website that's involved with trying to get new music, unsigned music, I suppose it is, on air. And it's set up in 2006 by Ballyfermot man Trevor Halpin. And the website reviews unsigned musicians from all over the world. Now, Keith McLoughlin is a local radio presenter in West Dublin, Access Radio 96 FM and Dublin South FM. And he's in the front line in the battle of creating a platform for many artists. Keith joins me live in studio. You're very welcome.
Hi, Andrea. Thanks very much for having me on.
Now, tell us a little bit about this, because obviously you work in radio as well. You've got a passion for radio, and it's a pleasure to have somebody else who likes radio as much as me in studio. What would you think of The Voice? Do you think it's a fair platform for people in Ireland to get their music out there?
Yeah, I think it's very fair, all right. I mean, definitely there's young singers out there that are like anywhere from 18 to 24 or thereabouts, and like obviously some of them haven't had experience in recording songs or playing gigs, so it's a great opportunity for the likes of them to go on and sing a song and see get an opinion and a reaction from the public to see how good they actually are. Now, I think there were a couple of artists that were on it that are kind of a bit more well known, that have recorded a couple of singles or albums, and perhaps maybe it's a little bit unfair with them competing against the younger artists that haven't got the experience, you know.
But you see, what's interesting I think about that is that it just shows you that the music business, particularly in Ireland, is incredibly tough, and you may get signed to a big record company, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to make a living of it. But what I find interesting is what you're working on. Tell us a little bit about, there's a couple of things we want to talk about, but Music Review Unsigned, or MRU. Tell us a little bit about that and your connection, Keith, to that.
Yeah, basically I got involved in MRU back kind of in the summer. We did this concert called Ballyfermot Rocks, and we did it beside the Civic Centre in Ballyfermot, and it was kind of myself and Trevor Halpin and all the guys in WDR. We set up this concert. We got 30 unsigned acts to play over a day, and it was a fantastic event. And then kind of from that, kind of got involved in the show that I'm doing, and I've already been doing the show for the last 2 years on it anyway.
So you kind of champion people who aren't signed, and would they be putting their own music out on air? Yeah,
they will be putting their own music out on air. It's really interesting. You get some fascinating bands that write lyrics and music, and I'm a big fan of the singer-songwriters, more so than the bands, only because I probably understand what they're talking about, whereas sometimes with bands they're a little bit noisy, but there are some really good bands too.
You're very honest, Keith.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, are you hoping to find the next U2 of the next generation? I mean, is it possible that there's some really brilliant talent out there and they just literally haven't had the platform of perhaps mainstream radio?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. There's a couple of singer-songwriters I was going to mention about later on, the likes of Sinead McNally and stuff. She's been getting airplay on some of the other radio stations outside of Dublin and stuff.
I actually know Sinead McNally. I don't know her personally, but I worked on Christmas FM, and she put a song forward, because they do a search every year for the next Irish Christmas song, and she put a song forward, and she's a very talented and exceptional young girl, an amazing voice, and I think she wrote the song as well.
Yeah, I think she did as well. I think that was back in 2010 she done that, and
That's right,
that was really good of her to do something. She's done loads of competitions, so it's good to see someone like her really pushing herself in the industry, I have to say. And
Keith, how hard is it? I mean, do you know Sinead personally? I mean, how hard has she been trying to get her music out there? Is it a very difficult task?
Yeah, it's kind of very difficult, all right. I mean, she's been lucky enough to get some interviews at the end of last year and stuff in the likes of TV3 and in RTE and stuff. So she's been pushing herself long enough at it now. So I think she gave up primary school teaching at the end of at the end of 2010, so she's kind of been going through 2011, and she released 3 singles throughout the year. She had Moody Blues and The Green-Eyed Monster, and actually The Green-Eyed Monster is a very funny video, because myself and a friend of mine, Alex Peckoff, we actually were characters in the video. We were in the background dancing around to the song and stuff like that, and then she released Dance With Me then a little later on in the year, about November, December, and so she's been doing really good, and obviously she's been getting some airplay for some of those songs.
So tell us a little bit about the Songwriter Club, because I know there's a meeting. Is it tomorrow, is it?
The meeting's tomorrow, yeah.
Tell us about it, and if anybody's listening and fancies themselves as a songwriter, this would be a perfect meeting. Is it open to everybody to go to?
Yeah, it actually is open to everyone, believe it or not. We kind of, myself and Sinead McNally set up this Songwriter Club kind of about September, and we said, I think because we met loads of people at Ballyfermot Rocks, and we were kind of on Facebook chatting to people, and we said, why don't we get a load of artists to meet up and have a chat about the industry, and like talk about like how do we get radio airplay, how do we get gigs, how do we do different things, recording, promotion, so all sorts of things. I mean, obviously one of the big things is it's a chance for everyone to get to know each other, because everyone knows each other on Facebook, but trying to put names to faces and find out the characters is a little bit more fascinating. So doing it in person, it's a social forum for people to meet up. So we had a first meeting back on the 15th of October. We did it in the village beside Whelan's there in Wexford Street. So we had 11 or 12 people at that, and we just kind of got talking about different things. So we were talking about music websites to put your music out on, different gigs to play, and made a list of the contacts for some of the radio stations to contact. So if you go to the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland website, you know, there's a list of stations, and you might be able to find some contacts in there to look at airplays or getting different interviews. So looking at specialist music shows as well as a way for artists to try and get interviews or get airplay and different things like that.
And Keith, I mean, obviously you're very passionate about this because you're championing the MRU, which is the Music Review Unsigned, the Songwriters Club. Is this something you personally want to get into, or do you want to get into radio presenting? Because I know you already present a show. Where does your heart lie?
I think my heart lies on radio presenting, but I think I'll always do music as a hobby, and I'll always spend some time doing that each week or each month or whatever I choose to do. So that's kind of the plan anyway.
And if somebody's listening in tonight and they're thinking, do you know what, I'd love to go to that Songwriters Club, but I've never ever let anybody listen to any of my lyrics so far. I'm just writing at home in my bedroom, or writing at home, maybe they're, you know, a taxi driver writing a couple of lyrics down. Would you welcome them all along? Yeah,
I would personally welcome them along, because they might be able to get some tips from some singer-songwriters that are going to meet up tomorrow actually. And like I actually write my own poetry and lyrics at home myself sometimes whenever I have a free minute and I'm thinking about thoughts and stuff, but I don't write any music right. So it's definitely something to share with different people. So we're looking at singers or songwriters or producers or managers or all sorts of people that are working in music, even if they're music journalists or radio presenters, to come along. If you're any interest in music at all, do come along to the Songwriters Club tomorrow. I must mention that it's going to be on in the Morgan Hotel in Temple Bar tomorrow, so we're kicking off at 2 o'clock, so we should be there till about 6 or so, and so it'd be great for people to come down and see it.
And it's free as well, isn't it?
It's free in, yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. I think the idea came by when we found out about an organisation called ISCA. They run different songwriting meetings and stuff like that, but it's kind of for a lot of the top artists like Kathy Davey and Luann Parle and things like that, and like there's a €50 charge for the year and stuff, and you know, people mightn't have the money to go out and pay a charge just to go to 3 or 4 meetings in a year. So we feel that doing something something that's non-profit and just give people a dig out, I think is a really important thing, that we want to get the message out there.
Well, it's certainly a very, very tough business to break into. It's like broadcasting as well. It's another tough industry, and I think it has to be a labour of love. You have to really love what you're doing, because if you're doing it maybe for fame or even fortune, it's going to be a very long road ahead, definitely. It is free. If somebody wants to go along, will they ask for you, Keith, or what should they do if they arrive and they're a bit nervous because they have to come on their own?
Yeah, I think, well, we have a Facebook page. It's called the Songwriter Club, and basically people can go on and like that. There's now 104 likes. We just hit the 100 mark on Wednesday.
So go, if you're into it, go on Facebook and like this. Tell us what it is again. We want to hit more than 104. You want at least 200.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Songwriter Club, it's just a like page on Facebook, and you'll kind of see it's kind of a red background with the Songwriter Club written. You'll see a piano and a guitar pictures in the very small, and so you'll see it when you type in the Songwriter Club on the search bar on Facebook. I think people will recognise Sinead McNally or myself when we're at the meeting. So I think we're going to be down in a large area of the bar down in the back of the Morgan Hotel, so they should be able to find us. If you see a big group of people sitting there chatting about stuff, you might think it's us then. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
And Keith, tell me, if they haven't written anything, are they still okay as well to come along if they just want to kind of earwig and find out more about it, if they're thinking about getting into this business?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sinead McNally has said that a couple of times, that she doesn't mind people coming along. If any questions about the music industry, she's more than happy to help out and ask questions about it.
Well, do you know what, Keith? I'm absolutely delighted that you took the time out to come in tonight, and it's a pleasure to chat to you, and I've no doubt we'll be hearing you on the airwaves in the near future. You're definitely a star for the future. Keith McLoughlin from the Songwriters Club, and also from WAR 96 FM, if you want to tune into that every week. Keith McLoughlin, thank you so much for coming to us into the studio. Continued success with the MRU and indeed the Songwriters Club tomorrow. Give it another plug. What time can people come along?
The Songwriters Club is on tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the Morgan Hotel in Temple Bar, and it'll be on for 3 or 4 hours. So it'll be great for people to come along. It's myself and singer-songwriter from Dundalk, Sinead McNally. So do come along if you have any queries about the music industry. If you just want to learn some knowledge about music, whether it be gigging, radio, promotion, songwriting, anything at all, do come along and ask us any questions. And it's an informal meeting as well, I must say. So we have a set agenda with a couple of different topics that we want to bring up, but it's not a classroom. It's not like we're not going to sit down and go, we're doing this at 2 o'clock, 2:30, we're doing this 3 o'clock, we're doing this. It's very open, so people can suggest things they want to chat about, and we'll have a chat.
Have an open discussion.
And you can have tea, coffee, minerals, a pint, whatever you want. So just come down and have a bit of crack with us anyway.
Well, best of luck with that.